Greetings to you. So, I'm recording this as we head into the festive season in 2025. And this is a message to share a little bit about questions that people have asked me and how I relate to them and how it can help you as well. My passion really is to share as much of what I have discovered really works well in a way that will work for you because we're all different. Remember that. So, one of the biggest questions I have been getting in various places is, Sabine, how do I live my happiest life with so many strings pulling on me? Family commitments, money commitments, um, whatever you want to add there, self-doubt, stress, feeling heavy or demotivated or overwhelmed with information, all of those things. It's without a doubt that we're all going through challenges and massive change. There's no doubt on it. It's just so obvious nowadays. It's not just words. So when people ask me this, I often say, where do I begin? Because it's so different for everybody. But let me just explain that the way I help people and the way I can help you, even now in this video, is by you starting to trust, even if you have self-doubt, that what feels important to you is important in your heart. That you realize there's a lot of options out there, there's a lot of offerings that may or may not work, there's a lot of ways in which you can pull your energy. Huge at the moment with the online offers and also with a lot of people creating programs just to, I guess, tap into your desperation and all those things. Now, there's also good people, I'm not saying, but because we are still in the Kali Yuga and also the Kali Yuga being exposed, which is the truth of things, there are going to be more things rising to the surface. And a lot of us are realizing how we trusted a lot of things that were not trustworthy. And I won't get into the details, but that's how it is. So, how can you find your path when so many strings are pulling, right? Um, the most powerful way is to actually be able to stop. And that could be 10 minutes a day if that's all you can afford. And everyone can afford 10 minutes because you have showers, you brush your teeth, you go to the bathroom, right? And building from there gradually. It is incredible how much 10 minutes a day can make a difference, sincerely. So the first thing is to recognize that you want to set that time aside to help you get clarity on what's important to you, what your priorities are, and that you can look at that. The best way to look at it is to spend time to get pen and paper out and write your priorities down. So I can work with you to find out what your values are by the way you talk. I can hear your truth beyond the words without any judgment. We all have so many layers, and because we have so many layers, we often don't remember which part of it we're supposed to be spending our attention on. So when I can hear you and I'm trained for this, I will be able to hear what lights you up and see it in your face or hear it in your voice. And that's really important feedback. When you're always busy and doing things, it's really hard to actually recognize things like that. And often years can pass before we realize, I didn't realize that was actually what I should have or could have or would have loved to have focused on. And that's completely natural and healthy. In this day where everything is rushing, your biggest bit will be slow down, get out of that busyness in life, and reconnect with yourself on a deeper level, away from scrolling, away from rushing, away from serving everybody else, and really tuning inwards. Because otherwise, you'll be living a life that is programmed by your upbringing, your family, even ancestry all the way back. Certain patterns will be there that we've discovered many times in sessions, society. And, once a belief is stuck in your consciousness and goes deep, so it's a subconscious thing that you don't question at all, you run that and you find ways to avoid the truth, and you found ways in which you will not want to hear anything different because that's threatening to your identity. It's threatening to the life you might have built, the castle, the sand castle, which you can let go of and rebuild or use parts of, metaphorically speaking. So I've always done that. It's something I've done since I'm a child. I've had a lot of time in nature, so I'm really aware of how much that helps the breath, the grounding, the journaling, and really simply being comfortable with sitting in silence, right? And a lot of people need a bit of space holding to be able to go there. It has to be almost a mission. I'm going to see Sabine and I'm going to spend 3 or 4 hours just delving into what's really important to me, peeling back the layers. And why is this important? Because if you don't do that, and some people do it once a year at the end of the year or something, I feel it should be monthly, ideally, if you can, fortnightly or weekly. Some people do daily. Why? Because it's really easy to get back into old habits, the way in which the brain was programmed. Because unprogramming it does take a little bit of consistency and encouragement, which I'm here to offer a framework, encouragement, being there and giving you the tools that I've learned of all in all of my life of studies and courses and self-application and teaching and things that I wouldn't even get into right now to list because that would take ages and bore you. But if you want me to make a video on that, I can, and I might just make a separate one, and then you can look at that yourself, a bit about my journey and how I've come to the place where I'm right now, but also how I landed on this earth and how I felt at the time and how I was always journeying things and deepening my idea of a weekend well lived was reading esoteric books or books on physics or quantum or psychology or art and feminine and integration and kundalini and breathwork. And that's just what I love. And going to the university, I've enjoyed going into the nitty-gritty and just observing how that feels for people when they're on the intellectual path and ignore the spiritual creative side and vice versa. So I feel like I've seen and heard pretty much everything. I don't shy away from certain details. I don't shy away from any topics. Everything is relevant within myself, within you, within the world. And I really love holding that space and seeing a woman blossom. So what happens is, in a nutshell, you'll be held in safe space, you'll be guided on a framework system where I have specific questions that help to get those things more to the surface for you. And then you'll be able to use that framework afterwards to go deeper. So, who is that version that you envisage? And how do you even go to that version and realize what the version is that you really would feel proud of when you leave your body, I guess you could say. Often we get tangled up and forget those priorities that really would fulfill you heart and soul and body and on all levels. And because I've been questioning that myself and looking for the answers and diving into the deepest places to look at that within myself and others, I really love holding that space and helping you to feel confident, helping you to peel back the layers with ease and grace and flow, literally within a 3 hour session. I know from your feedback how far you're happy to go that feels good and resonant and healthy at that time. And for you to take those steps. And considering it's the end of year, a lot of people have more time. You may decide, oh, I'm busy now, but often between the end of December and January, there's free time. And what could be more special than knowing what drives you, what you want to drive and motivate you, how to navigate in the best way, and really honor your mission or your feelings of fulfillment and to feel that you've written it and that you understand it, that you can also listen to audio recordings of this understanding, and that you can have my support completely. So if you're interested, have a discovery call and have a chat with me. It's really important in my opinion, not because I'm offering this, but I have seen every time people forget, including myself, or we forget part of it, um, life gets harder and it takes harder to get back into that groove. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all part of the learning. But I like the idea of using my time effectively and be really present and enjoy the gifts that every moment brings. And for me, it's important personally that I don't spend 5 years completely off track and then wondering, what was I doing? That's just me, and that is self-love to me, not a self-torture. That's like, oh yes, please, because if I can figure out what I want in the next 20 years in this moment, that can evolve as we go along. Therefore, in the next 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 2 days, all related, and really having that awareness, what needs to be in place, my behavior, my choices, my yeses, my nos, as in what I say no to and what I say yes to. The more I have that, the more my life will be really rich, and I will be able to work on all forms of abundance and joy and the peace as well for when I actually do exit this body temple. So I hope this inspires you to perhaps spend the holiday season reading those special books, listening to the podcasts that inspire and empower you, that remind you of who you are, and drop the things that don't match. And most importantly, I am so certain, and all the sages also say it, not that that matters, but really the answer is within. And if you spend your energy and time externalizing about your looks, about your money, about an external relationship, any form or shape, even your own children or parents, if you focus on that only without making the same effort and time for your own connection and well-being, those relationships can never take on the beauty that you are and the beauty that they are because you haven't met it within yourself. So that kind of focus on yourself is actually beneficial for everybody. And also the collective, remembering who we are, being confident, being empowered, and choosing you so that you can live by example for your children, your loved ones, future generations, for your creativity at work, for everything that you do, and so that you can trust your own wisdom. You don't feel like there is some sort of savior coming or there's a particular guru that's going to be giving you all the answers. No, really feeling, okay, I can listen to information, but I do understand what is right for me and not. And I also know that if I'm learning, I will change my mind, obviously, and I will evolve and I will reach different planes of consciousness, all in divine time where I can hold that space and actually integrate all the learnings from every, whatever it is, yoga class, lecture, book, podcast, person that I admire, person that I don't want to be like, my own younger version of myself, etc., etc., that I want to embody more, that I want to be connected with. Maybe you disconnected with yourself when you were a teenager or a little girl or little boy, and in childhood you just due to survival played a role, or maybe many, many roles. You became vigilant, you became all focused on the external to get you through things. And this is repeating now in other relationships. This is a survival mechanism which will override all logic. And until we see that, it's going to keep happening. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's just your consciousness trying to work through it. I hope that all makes sense and I haven't said too much or things that leave you wondering. Feel what you feel right now. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. And how gorgeous it is to trust yourself, to sit in this moment, to know that you are actually enough as you are. And that the more you fill your heart with presence, the more you connect to the divine biology within you and the consciousness and intelligence, the more you are going to have an incredible life and share that with the rest of the world so that they too may want to embody that as well. Lecturing people on what they should and shouldn't do doesn't work. It has to be your choice and their choice. So, what might you get out of that choice? Can you imagine a better life? If you're happy right now and you're fulfilled, you're ready to say, hey, I've had a great life and I'm totally cool, there's nothing needed, right? But if you're feeling, oh, there's so many plans, there's so many things I want to do, sometimes I take two steps forward and one back, all sorts of sometimes feel stressed at night, or I wish I could do better, more for myself. I wish I could look more youthful or attract the right person or be better at my parenting and patient and inspirational and create miracles because of my presence and my mindset, then contemplate it. And I think it's the greatest gift you can give yourself. And I've done this many, many, many times. And every time I grew, I loved it. It's like another door opens, another door, another door. It's like an infinite movie of up leveling, my ability to see the biggest possible picture and to celebrate the challenges and the gifts of every moment. And that means I feel the lows, I feel the highs. I'm aware of the breath, I'm aware of perception and labels, and I'm able to also catch myself if I go in a downward spiral very quickly within a few minutes, and also redirect in an upward spiral, which is infinite potential, feeling everything, but knowing there's a gift in everything, knowing there is a learning, and knowing that if I stay integrative within myself, in a sense, not in denial or overly positive, but grounded, remembering that I can make a big difference and make a change for the world and others and myself, then I'm actually going to be a positive influence in the life. I'm going to help up level all of the people, animals, whatever it is that may be suffering and could do with a bit of uplifting. All right, I know I could go on and on because it depends on perspective. It's never that black and white. If you have any questions, any thoughts, let me know. And have a wonderful festive season. And if you're interested in anything that I offer, which I put my heart and soul into, which is unique for every one of my clients, just reach out and check out what I offer and find out if it's the right time. Because if it's not now, when is it? Try to realize that you blossoming is a benefit for all aspects in your life. And how would you like to blossom more? So you feel amazing. So you know, no matter what goes on, you've got your inner center. Hmm. Okay. That's what I wish for you and humanity. At the same time, I also know that often suffering teaches us the greatest lessons. So I'm not wishing that away. And sometimes denial is strong, and sometimes we're not ready for the truth. I get all that and I honor that. But if you are ready and this resonates, then here we are. I wonder what's next for you, me, and the world. Ciao for now.
Mhm.
Ah.